Hello, my name's Finn. This is Finn's Window. I am here to do a reading today that I was called to do by Spirit for a collective. I'm not sure who you are or what it is that you need to know right now. But I just tuned into the energy and got an overview of the vibe. And generally there's a big slowdown happening right now. Understandably, it being in the northern hemisphere summertime, it can feel like this is a time to be go go go, but actually we're still in Mercury retrograde. I believe there are probably other retrogrades still ongoing because those were planets with longer transits, but I am not an astrologer. I have people in my life who are, and I'm very careful to not step on anyone's toes, or more importantly say things that people then come back later and tell me I was wrong about, but I'm willing to be wrong, so it's fine. So, we're going through a massive period of change. I personally have been forced to slow down immensely the last few weeks in particular, and withdraw from the world outside to go into the world within, which is where we are all being called. Overall, in general, as humans on Earth right now, as humans who are awakening. And if you're the kind of human who is watching a tarot read, you are likely the kind of human who is being initiated right now. So there is a lot to sit with, a lot coming up, a lot being cleared. And a lot of that transmutation energy really requires sitting with what is and just being present. So if you have meditative practices, breath work, mindfulness, art, creativity, walking in nature, being in nature, just spending time sitting under a tree, bare feet in the grass if possible. This is a really good time to double down on those practices and be with what is. So a lot of what's coming through right now is around love, romance, codependence, patterns that we're clearing that we have been embodying for centuries and developing for centuries. And there is nothing wrong with romantic relationships. It's not to speak against the concept of romance or soulmates or any of the bonding connections or bonded connections we, I don't want to say seek, a lot of people are embodying them right now or living them. But there is a lot that has been coming up to show us just how unhealthy those connections have become. And under the constructs we have been living in this reality for the last few hundred years that have spread around the world, there has been a massive focus on, I would say a disproportionate focus on one single romantic relationship with one other person as a way to solve all of our problems. Let me know if you feel me, because this is something that was definitely programmed hard into me, and I have been dragging the bottom of the barrel recently on the programming that's still in there and the wounds that are still held. And it has been not just this life, but past lives that I've been revisiting. And the times where it seemed like a happy ending, 10 of Cups, was on the cards and didn't happen, 2 of Cups in reverse. And instead, extreme pain, like an absolute heartbreaking, wrenching change. One of the energies I tapped into from a past life was the most profound grief of abandonment by someone who loved me, who I loved dearly. And in that life, it wasn't safe for us to be seen to be together because we didn't fit into the mold that we had been programmed with of how life should be, how love should be, how it should look. And that extreme grief, as I plumbed the depths of that wound, I recognised I had felt it many times in my life already in ways that had not been understood by people around me, and it gave me this experience has been giving me a massive insight into neurodivergence as an autistic ADHD person myself, how I had massive emotions that did not make sense to my caretakers because they weren't linked to the events of my life at the time. They were linked, but they weren't fully explained by what was going on in the world around me at the time, because they weren't just from this lifetime. And that feels like something a lot of people are starting to experience, if not already deep in the process of experiencing and healing. And where we have, you want to come out as well? Where we have wounds related to, or programs related to authority, particularly masculine authority, and I don't mean men, I mean masculine energy, any being that has been in the masculine side of the masculine feminine, which is essentially where humanity has been for the last few hundred years. Some would describe it as the patriarchy. Some would be wary to use gender at all to describe it, but the gender divide as far as energy goes is just masculine is one type of energy, feminine is another type of energy, and they are two sides of the same source, which is where we start to understand source. And this imbalance has been the driving force behind everything that we are doing as a human race to cause death and destruction on this plane. It is in reverse in this read with the 10 of Wands, which is the end of a heavy burden cycle, but it is, there's heavy burdens and they are being transmuted right now, and death in reverse to me is the past lives, going back into those lives before the experience of death, because we have carried wounds with us from those lives. We know intergenerational trauma is passed down through our DNA and then inherited through our familial patterns and cultural patterns, but there are also the wounds and energies that we carry in our soul from one incarnation to the next, and they are, Earth right now is an incredible place for souls to come to do alchemical transmutation of wounds that we are holding and that we are ready to release. And right now the energies of the Schumann resonance, of the sun, of the astrology, and of all sorts of other influences are really supporting, if not driving, they are driving our ascension, as in raising up through these denser energies. And as our overall frequencies rise, things that are heavier, that are not in resonance anymore, that can't come with us where we're going, have to be witnessed, to be transmuted. And this is an incredibly powerful time for that. It's also an incredibly challenging time. So just want to say, if you're going through this right now, please double down on your self-care. And I don't just mean bubble baths, I mean the way you speak to yourself, the support that you ask for, be mindful of who you ask for it from, as we are releasing codependence. But if there is no one else and it is just you, and I have been there, just know that you are everything that you need, because you are connected internally to everything that is. Source is within you, God, the divine, whatever you want to call it, love, consciousness, and it's connected to everything. You could not possibly be alone, because you have never been alone. Being alone is the illusion that we are awakening out of. And while you may feel loneliness, that does not mean that you are alone. And the part of you that feels the loneliness needs the love as well, because you have absolutely felt that in this life and in past lives. But it is an illusion that we are awakening from. So I'm going to switch to the Oracle out of the Tarot now to gain some guidance for navigating this transition that we are moving through. Ooh. Celestial Teacher. It's hard to see what's actually being included on the screen. I've got a mega deck here, and I'll list all the decks that I used in the reading in the description box below. Ooh. Oh yeah. What's that talking about? We have, from the Mushroom Spirit Oracle, whoa, an inability to hold on to cards. No, that's just me. The Wrinkled Peach Mushroom, which is followed by the keyword unique. Fionn, from the Celtic Spirit Oracle, which is beginnings, willingness, and opportunity. And Caradwin, transformation, knowledge, and magic, which just to me sums up the essence of this reading. It is a time to recognize that you are your own guide, teacher, healer. The age of the guru is over. The guru within, well, the age of the external guru is over. The guru within is all that you need. And there are a lot of people who are still programmed with the external authority model of the old paradigm that we are shifting out of, who will present themselves as who you need in order to heal, but the only person that you need is you, and your internal guidance will absolutely guide you to other human beings who can support your path, but you are the one doing the work. You are the one who knows what you need, and this is a time we are embracing our own uniqueness as a collective. Like, each individual soul came here to have a unique experience, and we are moving out of this homogenized reality where everyone was forced to try to be the same in order to be successful. And we can see that all those structures are crumbling around us right now. So this is a time to embrace your uniqueness, your gifts, your creativity. And I don't mean art in the construct that a lot of people have learned art to be, like a subject in school or a profession. But art is the act of creation, and every single one of us is a creator being. We create our reality with what we believe and our actions that we take based on that. And this is an incredibly powerful time to transmute and transform what we believe and what we are putting into the cauldron that creates our reality. It really is a time for new beginnings, but we are, it feels to me, right at the end of a period of review of our hurts and pains and wounds. And it's a really important time to maintain the practice of, first of all, staying hopeful. Hope is the medicine we need the most, because if we don't believe that things can get better, any action that we take is going to be bringing that energy with it. And I have no doubt we are headed to more joyful times. And I say joyful rather than happy, because happiness comes and goes, but I've been joyful at times when I have been in ecstatic levels of suffering. And I'm not glamorizing suffering, I just mean that joy is the understanding, the perspective of, from the soul, we came here for experience, and everything is experience, and we are capable of so much, carrying so much burden, so much grief, witnessing so much death and destruction, and still pouring from that well of love from our heart space. And keeping our hearts open in hell, as Ram Dass described it, is one of the most important tasks that is on us right now. And one of the most important ways to do that is to find our passion, keep that fire lit, stoke it, feed it, do anything that feels creative, rearrange a drawer, draw something, doodle, sing a song out of tune, make up a song. In fact, the more creative that you are, the more you are embodying pure play energy, the more you are bringing your frequency to that level where you are creating your reality, and that's where massive change happens. And at this point, I want to ask the... completely forgotten the name of the deck. Angels and Ancestors. I thought it was that, but I was going to say something else. For a closing message. I might follow up with a picture of the reading, like at the end of the video, but I don't know if I'm capable of that level of technology, because I am 40 and I am a little behind. I'm fine with that. I'll learn when I need to learn. Great Spirit, angels, ancestors, higher selves, guides, energies, entities, deities, invested in the highest good of all. Closing messages for this collective. What do they need to know? What do they need to focus on right now? Message for today, message for this week, message for this month. Message for today, message for this week, message for this month. Message for today, message for this week, message for this month. That's what I'm talking about. Kind of singing, we mean. Don't be afraid to sing out of tune. That came out when I did the read in advance. We'll get to that in a second. Message for this week. It's you, isn't it? Ooh. And message for this month. Whoa! Good Lord, Blackadder. Okay, well, I think we're going to be taking all three, because... Yeah. Alright, so message for today is shapeshifter. Transform and unveil your gifts. Ooh, I may have to practice my lighting setup. Transform and unveil your gifts. And to me, this is pointing to how your soul is a shapeshifter. You have incarnated as more than just a human. You have all of these other energies that you have embodied, that you can embody. They are around us all the time. And whatever you need, you can call on. You don't need to know what you need either. All you need to do is ask and trust. You know, come into the heart space, whatever way you do that. Calm the body, calm the mind. Set a timer on your phone for 5-10 minutes and turn off all notifications and just trust that in this 5-10 minutes of permission you've given yourself to go within, that you're entitled to that, you have a right to that, you need that, and we all need everyone to be doing this kind of practice on a regular basis. So it's for the highest good of all for you to do this. If you have a people-pleasing patterning system that needs reassurance that this isn't just about you, but it does start with you and your gifts. And this is a really important time to meditate on, sit with, play with. What lights you up, where your fire burns, where that feeling of, I just have to do whatever it is that comes to you, and not from a logical place of this would be good or I should do X. It's this childlike energy of passion, joy, creativity, play, and all sorts of things become possible through that. So that's the message for today. Transform and unveil your gifts. The message for this week. Seer. See beyond the current situation. And this to me is a reminder to zoom out and see from the soul perspective as often as possible, especially when you feel yourself getting drawn into conflict, reactivity, all of these things that we have been working on transmuting, and allowing yourself to tune back into that, the heart space, the higher self guidance. Now, a lot of people, when they think of the higher self, think height must be above, and obviously there is the crown chakra and the connection to source consciousness up there, but through the heart space, the heart is the middle of the 7 chakras of the 7 chakra system. There are more chakras, and in other systems there are more than the 7, but the heart is the center. It's the space of love. It's the frequency where all things are encompassed and held in love, and in that space, things the mind could never come up with become tangible, possible, believable, and miracles occur. And this is a really, really important time in the world to be embodying that energy as often as we can, because when we get pulled into reactivity, we're actually fueling the things that we are fighting against. And that means that we are working against our own interests and the interests of the highest good of all. And it is extremely easy to do, and there's no judgment for when we do that. But it's just an invitation to keep coming back to the practice of centering, coming back into the heart space, and seeing beyond the immediate physical reality. And then I asked for a message for this month, and we get spring. See your seeds grow. Spirit Fox, trust your talents in challenging times. Changing times, sorry, but either works, I guess. And Shaman, trust in higher forces. And to me, this is speaking to the patience with which we are approaching this embodiment of the new earth. And I heard Bashar talking, well, Darrell Anga was talking about Bashar having described a new earth as being something that we are constantly shifting into. Like each second, a millisecond, we are shifting realities constantly. And every time we change our vibration, our frequency, it changes where we are, which earth we are embodying currently. And this is a really powerful time for manifestation of that. And for me, the new earth is the heart-centered space where we remember we're connected. We remember we are part of Mother Earth herself. We're, from some perspectives, the neurons of the body that is Gaia. And this understanding that we are creating this new reality with the intentions and work that we have been doing so far and setting so far. And this is not a time to expect the full fruits of our labour to show, but we are starting to see seeds sprout here and there, and we are being called on to trust that these things that we have planted are for the highest good, and that we have what it takes. to continue this work, but also that we are being supported by higher forces than just us as humans right now, and our souls. So this feels like a good place to end this reading. I hope this helped. I'm not sure who this was for. If you resonated with it and you want to share anything in the comments, please feel free to do so. But for now, I would just like to thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I would like to thank my guides, your guides, our higher selves, our ancestors, our spirit teams, angels, archangels, and all energies, entities, deities that are in support of the highest good of all right now, for their support in our path to a new earth. With love, Amen, Ashe.